Hi, Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Hi.
Hi, Davis.
Hi, Dee. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing well.
It takes me so long to get onto this site that I start early.
I did too.
It's good to be prepared.
Can you hear me okay?
I got you loud and clear, Tim.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Hey, Jeff. Everybody staying cool? It sure has been warm outside. Unbelievable.
Got the fan going.
Yeah. It's crazy. Hey, Julie.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hey, Tim.
Hey.
Hey, Dee and Lauren and Jeff, I guess.
Jeff popped off my screen.
Oh. I just see a little round circle.
That's all I see.
Maybe he's fixing his hair.
Too late in the evening for that.
That's right. Just let it be.
That's
right.
it.
Julie, you're so cool. You have to wear sunglasses inside.
If I don't put them on my head, I'll forget them when I leave the office. And then tomorrow morning, I'll be paying the price. Yeah. You'll get old someday and that sun will kill your eyes. So.
I'm there. I just always forget my sunglasses. So you're smarter that way.
Hi, Gerard. How are you?
I'm doing very
This is
well.
Robert
Dave. How are you
McElroy.
doing?
Doing fine. Hi, Mr.
Hey,
Mac-
Rob.
Jeff, you shaved your mustache.
Yeah. Truth is, I've been trying to grow it all year, and this is just all I can get.
Oh, okay.
I had a Zoom and a Teams meeting going at the same time on two different screens. But I'm just glad I don't have a third screen. Two is the most I can handle at once.
Mr. McElroy, looks like we might be getting an echo. Would you mind muting your phone?
Well, I had the phone so I can speak. I thought I muted the. Let me mute the one here for this. Thank you for pointing that out.
Sure. No problem at all. Thank you for your help. Teams is pretty good about putting a blue circle or square around people that are making noise, so it's it points you out pretty quick. Can I ask you to just join the call?
Mark's up.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
I'm well, and you?
Doing well. Good to hear from you.
Great. Glad I'm here.
Are you in
Who's up
town,
so
Mark,
far?
or are you traveling?
No, I'm at home.
Okay.
Well, we have everybody but Tom
Tom.
on the board, and Jeff and I are here. Robert McElroy is on. Looks like Lauren's going to be with us. We have D. Judge, and we just have one more person who just joined.
Suzanne Courier.
Hi, Miss Courier.
Hi.
Taylor's here as well.
Hey, Taylor.
There you go.
Just have someone else call in.
Yes, this is Richard.
Richard?
Yes.
Lauren?
Hey guys.
Hey, Richard, was Tom going to join us tonight?
He didn't say he wasn't. I'm assuming he was.
Okay.
He's late.
Jeff.
What did you say, Mark?
I said he's late.
Yeah. I'll give him till 6:31 and then we'll get started here.
That's good.
Okay. We're ready to call the meeting to order. Call the meeting to order, the River Plantation Municipal Utility District, the June 24th, 2021 meeting at 6:31 p.m. Our first order of business is to consider the minutes of the Board of Directors meetings held on May 20th and May 26th of 2021. On the May 20th, does anyone have any comments, corrections?
I'm good.
You good?
Mark's good.
All right.
George,
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of May 20th, 2021?
I so move. Mark?
Okay, can I get a second?
Tim seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Tim, I.
Gerard, aye.
Julie, aye.
And Mark, aye. Okay.
Okay. All right, May 26th, that was the emergency meeting for the repairs, to authorize the repairs. Any corrections, comments, clarifications on those minutes?
Julie, I've got a question about those minutes. I think during that meeting, there was a question specifically brought up regarding hurricane preparedness.
Okay.
And how prepared we are for a hurricane regarding our generators and equipment. And Richard stated that we were ready to go for the season. And I didn't see that in the minutes. I just wanted to make sure that's notated, because if something were to happen down the road, I don't want somebody to come back and say, well, you guys never even discussed it. Can we add that to the minutes?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to, Tim. I think that's good suggestion.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, Tom.
Hey, sorry about that. Couldn't get my
Okay.
computer to work.
That's okay. All right. So we're going to pass these minutes till next month. Or should we approve them with that change? I mean,
I think we should approve them with that change.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of May 26th with the change that Tim wanted?
Mark approves them, or
Okay. Mark makes a motion.
motion, yes.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Tim seconds.
Okay. All in favor?
Mark, aye.
Tom, aye.
Tim, I.
Gerard, aye.
Julie, aye. Okay. Next item on the agenda is receive comments from the public. Do we have anybody from the public that would like to speak or address the board or ask any questions?
Yeah, this is Dee. Can I ask a couple of questions?
Sure.
Okay, I guess I'm still wondering why the other directors don't have their faces up here on this screen.
You'll have to ask them.
Gerard, why aren't you on the screen?
It's not required, Dee, and I reserve the right to my personal privacy.
Okay, will you show up at the meetings when we're going to do them in person?
Yes, I will.
Okay, Mark, what about you?
I enjoy sitting in front of my computer screen in my shorts and my t-shirt.
We don't care.
I know you don't care. You all know what I look like. And when we go in person back, and I hope it's soon, we meet in public, I'll be there dressed up nicely, but I'm comfortable the way I'm doing it this way.
Okay, and Richard, what about you? You're the manager.
Again, with Gerard, it's not required, and I need to buy equipment to do that. My computer's not designed for that right now.
Okay, well, I have a question about the information that the directors get in their packets. Are we getting everything on the screen that the directors get? Richard?
Oh, yes, you should be. Everything's in the packet I send to Stephanie, plus Stephanie has other stuff that I don't get that she puts in there. It should be everything that the directors get, you should have.
Okay, I guess I'm wondering about just the work that's done during the month, you know, the problems that we have in the district. I noticed other MUD districts put this information on there, and I don't see it for our district.
Such as, D? Can you give an example?
Well, I mean, you know, just whatever problems are in the district or any of the, you know, like the work orders or I mean, I think if you have some idea that there are problems in a particular area, that is good information when you're making all these decisions here as to what work goes forward.
I made some operational notes at the end of the manager's report. There's operational notes down there. There's 4 items on that, in that regard.
Okay. Oh, what about the sinkholes? Were we supposed to have that on the billing cards that go out so people can let you and the engineer know if they have sinkholes? I thought that was supposed to be on the bills or on the website.
They're supposed to call the office so we can get a work ticket started on it, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, but how did they know that?
I was going to say the only way they would know it, Richard, is because I posted it on Facebook and Nextdoor because I didn't see it anywhere else. And that's been probably 2 or 3 months ago.
Richard,
I mean, if you
this
want,
is Mark. Richard, this is
Yes.
Mark. I think that's something that should definitely be on the website in bold print. Any problems, sinkholes, busted pipes or whatever, emergencies, call this number. I think that would be, it should be easy to get on the website. As far as on the billing and stuff, nobody reads the bill. They just look at the price and they write the check or whatever. But on, there ought to be something on the website in bold print about emergencies, this type of thing.
I agree, Mark. I can make some comments like that and post them on the webpage.
Appreciate it.
You have anything else, Dee?
No, I guess that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else have any comments, questions?
Yes, I do. I'm Robert McElroy. In line with what Dee was requesting, looking at the items for discussion, prepared a summary of cost. This is item 4A. Seemed like to me if there's a prepared summary of cost, that would be something to be presented here, if that's on the agenda. The next item is the CIP, the capital improvement plan is complete. If y'all have that for your discussion, it seemed like you would also have that as evidence of the work being proposed. And that's not part of these meeting notes. So how can you discuss it if it's not in this packet?
Robert, I don't see anything
I
on
was going to say,
4A.
apparently I have a different agenda than you do.
Mine says June the 24th, 6:30 p.m. And it says underneath engineers report, I guess, is where I'm looking at that. River Plantation Municipal District, page 7.
You're not on there.
This is for the, I guess this is a question really for the engineering representative, more so than the board.
I was say I showed the capital improvements plan, but what was the other one you said?
The recreation bond application. This would be the one for Lauren, prepared summary of costs, which if you're going to discuss, we don't know what you're talking about.
Mr. McElroy, I'll direct you to item 3E on the agenda, preparation of park bond application.
Okay. So will you have working documents to refer to in your discussion?
We're going to discuss it with the engineer today in his report. I don't think that there's an application has not been authorized, prepared, so therefore it is not yet complete.
Okay. Now, the next item, thank you for the answer there. I think it was about 3 months ago now, Mr. Bonham, that you stated that this lawsuit would be wrapped up. And I think we're at the end of that 2 to 3 month period. How much longer do you think y'all be involved in that lawsuit? We have no idea as how much that's going to continue to cost us. Over the last 2 billing periods, I see an expense of $77,000 for legal fees. And I don't think we're in business here to pay legal fees on a continuing basis. And so there's something's happening here. And the other item with respect to those legal fees on the finance report, I think Director Smith, I know y'all approved it probably 4 months ago, that those fees would be broken out in more detail. And I think, Mr. Bonham, you did express that y'all do have some level of detail, but evidently someone needs to get with the bookkeeper and get that broken out on our financial report. So who within this organization, as represented today, is responsible for getting that carried out?
Richard corresponds with the bookkeeper. Richard works with the bookkeeper. But I will tell you, the bills are available if anyone wants to go see them, and they do have a great level of detail. I mean, down to I think you bill in what, 15 minutes, 15-minute increments of what they're doing, who they're talking to, what they're doing, everything. Because I look at them every month when I sign the checks.
It's a 10.
Okay, well,
Robert, I'd like to respond real quick. And
yeah,
this is actually something I was going to bring up later, but now it seems more appropriate. I do plan on not recommending approval of the bookkeeper's report because that's not included. Yeah, I've asked several times that it be broken out and the general counsel fee, the litigation fees, and the administration fees be broken out in that report.
okay, thank you, Gerard. So that's my observation there, because I know September a year ago we had $47,000 invoice. And so this is on a continuing basis, and it's approaching where we as homeowners are paying our monthly bills and our taxes to support for a large degree of legal support. And as I recall in previous meetings before this board was present, that the lawyer, the legal person, would stick his head in the door at the beginning of the meeting and give his report, and then would be dismissed. And that was it. And we do have a rather large dependent on legal representation in our meetings. I'll give you another example. There was at least 3 or 4 meetings where Mr. Radish was present when there was no item of executive session on the agenda. And for that, we paid, obviously, his time and travel for that. This had to do with the presentation of the bond. And that had nothing to do with what would be discussed in the executive session. I know Mr. Bonham is well versed in that as well, and he could answer what level of detail is permissible. So that's my observation in terms of management of these expenses. Go ahead, Julie.
Robert, if you've ever attended another MUD board meeting, ever watched one virtually, every MUD board meeting that I've ever watched or attended has both their legal representatives and their engineers at every meeting to advise them. So this is not new. What's new is we're involving them and we're getting their input at the meetings. This was not done. We went through this with the previous engineer. If you remember, Mr. Blyle actually got on here and stated and told me personally that he was not allowed to attend the meetings. Okay. I don't know what kind of representation and what kind of advice you can get from your professionals if they don't attend the meetings. And that's what they're hired for.
So basically they're on the payroll. Therefore, whenever we have another budget proposal, like what came through last year, saying we need a budget approval for $120,000 instead of $12,000 that had been done in previous years as an expense. Now we're up to $120 on a budget approval. I would suggest that Mr. Bottom have budget input, because evidently Richard is not able to come up with a good number. So then that way he can be held to a budget just like everybody else in the organization.
That's correct. And we're going to be working together on a lot of that. The budget is not going to be just approved and looked at and passed. We have to rein this in at some point in time. And so this next budget, when it comes up, we'll have a lot of input from a lot of different people. So, but hopefully this was not all the legal fees were not all about Charleston. Okay. You seem to, a lot of it had to do with the bond election. Part of it failed, part of it passed. Okay. If some of the directors want to go forward with another bond election, possibly, you're going to incur more attorney's fees. So we've got to figure it out, because you're going to hear tonight, we've got some more capital expenditures coming up. This problem is not getting better. It's getting worse. Okay. We can't kick it anymore. We've kicked it as far down the road as we can.
Okay.
You know, we'll have,
Thank you, Julie.
I'm sure you'll have a new board next May that may decide that this is not what they want to do. And I just hope it's not on your street or my street where we have these failures.
Well, here again, we're entering a new environment, and I think the budgeting and cost control is an important element, other than just getting more money and putting it in the treasury. So I think we need a good balance on both
We won't
sides.
be just getting money and putting it in the treasury. We're already operating at a deficit every month.
Okay.
So.
Thank you, Julie.
Okay.
That's all
No
I
problem.
have.
Okay. Anyone else from the public have a comment or a question?
And if I can, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. It's fine.
I was just going to add our bill is broken down by matter and has been. It's actually a completely separate invoice by matter number, and has been, throughout this process. So
That's right.
Don't say anything.
I have one question with respect to the bill. Will it indicate the case number that you're working on, since things happening in our court system or public information? Obviously, the case numbers are not available without having to make special inquiry. Is that also on your bill?
I don't know if the or go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, well, I could say we don't include we can set up matters to include the case number if that's how the board would like to do it. We haven't billed it that way. There's only 2 cases that we're involved in. I must say only. There's 2 cases we're involved in right now. The appeal of the CIA lawsuit with respect to implied restrictions, and then our condemnation of the Charleston Park. So it's sort of it's an ongoing thing, and we all understand that that's what's happening. So we haven't added that detail to it. If the board would like, we'll be happy to put case numbers on it, but everyone seems to know that's what's happening. They're related, and it hasn't been necessary.
And we don't typically do that.
Correct. That's right.
I'm good as a board member. I'm good with it the way it is. We're getting updated at the board meetings, and if we need to be updated in between, I'm sure we can call a meeting and be updated. So
That's true. And we would obviously update the board anytime we thought there was something noteworthy to talk about.
So I should be able to send an email and ask for those case numbers?
Yeah. Yes, Mr. McElroy, if you email me, I'll be happy to tell you those.
Okay, thank you, Paul.
Yeah, that's probably, you could also search them on they're both in Montgomery County. One's in county court, one's in district court, and you could find them that way. But if you email me, I'll send that to you, or I'll have my assistant send that to you. That'll be a little cheaper for the district.
Okay. I had them at one time, but then when y'all go through the appeals process, and that's where I lose track of it. So
sure. No, I'll be happy to do that, sir.
Okay. All right. I think somebody else had something they wanted to say. Oh.
Yes, ma'am. My name's Angela Smith. This is only the second meeting that I sat in on to listen to. And I think my concern was last month when you had this special meeting and you talked about raising the water rate to a flat, I think, $200 versus there was a gentleman that came up with a different way, and I don't remember his name.
Gerard.
Based on usage. Because I live alone. So I just, an extra $200 flat rate when you've got a house down the street and there's 6 people that live there, to me doesn't seem to be fair. So,
That
yeah,
was from another
Yeah.
individual, not a board member.
Yeah, I think we're going to discuss some options and things down on the agenda tonight.
okay,
So,
okay,
okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem.
Wait till she asks.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Well, I do. Just speak.
Yes, Julie. I would like to make a request. Oh, this is Bernadette McElroy. I would like to make a request that Tom finds a better way of communicating that everyone can hear him, because it sounds garbled out here and we cannot make out his words. So he either comes into that building or he sits in the car or he finds a better way.
I'd be glad to sign off right now.
I can hear.
No,
I
can't.
hear him
I
here.
can't hear. See, out here we can. He sounds garbled or something is wrong with, huh? It could be your speaker phone, Tom.
It doesn't
He's not
matter
on his
what we
phone. He's
use.
on his computer.
Well, tell him to try and get him with a setup like what you have, Julie. You come out clear. So maybe someone could go over there and give him a hand for the next meeting. I would appreciate that. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Bernadette. Does anybody else from the public have any comments, questions, input? That it? Okay, item number 3, the engineer's report and matters including, let's start with the capital improvements plan.
So as far as the capital improvements plan, this is just continue the holdover. We typically don't present it every week as we've presented it in the past with our breakdown of everything. If any updates come about that we may need to show the board or anything like that, we would be happy to present it again. Or if the board wishes to see it every month, I can include it in the report.
No, I think we have more dire issues at this point. So,
and I'll say I've just left it on here for discussion purposes in the event that it was warranted. I can certainly take it off if that would be the board's preference.
yeah, I mean, I don't mind seeing it there. I mean, in case there's something that we do need to discuss.
It's just there so you can discuss it if you need to. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so this Gerard, I do have a question about that. It's related to several things. I have seen the capital improvements program. I've seen timeline and recommendations. Is there a list of specific findings that Vogler has used in order to produce those recommendations for the budget and the timeline and the projects? I mean, I think that would be very useful to have in our planning to prioritize things that are going to need financing.
I mean, as far as the 10-year CIP plan, the entire storm sewer, as we've seen over the past, seems to be failing with all the sinkholes, the flooding issues, in places that shouldn't flood during normal storms and things like that. So as far as specific projects, we are proposing that the entire storm sewer system be completely evaluated.
Taylor, I'm not saying specific projects. I'm saying specific findings, a lot like what was done for FEMA along the, I guess it's the East Ditch, where they spray painted things on there, and I assume that there's annotations that go along with each one of those findings. I would hope that that something like that was put together as a basis or a foundation for the CIP.
I mean, I spent a lot of hours in the district, walking the district. I do have a spreadsheet showing large and small sinkholes in certain areas. You guys in the past have produced sinkhole pictures. Obviously, we got the televising of that other report that kind of solidified our findings. I've been to Holly Springs where the bottom of the pipe is completely gone. So I've spent a lot of time in the district evaluating certain things, and I have to extrapolate those into assume that they're happening more than just where we're finding them. Just because you don't see it on the surface doesn't mean it's happening underground.
But Taylor, before actually doing any work, I mean, step one with the sanitary sewer system would be to clean and televise the system, right? To actually get video.
Yeah, in regards to the sanitary sewer system, I pulled manholes. I looked at manholes and things like that. Obviously, these two failures came up again, kind of solidified what we were thinking was happening, but without extensive televising of the entire sanitary system, I cannot give you specific locations. Once we have the money to televise, the first item on the CIP plan was both to televise the sanitary and also televise the storm sewer to get a full evaluation of what's going on. I have to do my best to make guesses at those numbers when I'm looking at them to evaluate the extent of the damage. I hope they come in lower than that. I hope we televise it and it looks better. But with everything going on right now, it just kind of continues to solidify what we thought was happening, and that's mostly a failed system.
Okay, so there's no specific list of findings that you can publish for things that you did observe already that's helped you come to the conclusion.
I have an extensive list that I can publish. I don't know where I'm publishing it, but yes, I have an extensive list of findings that I can send you if you would like to see them.
Yeah, so that, I guess that could either be an addendum or an appendix for the CIP, or it could be a separate document. It doesn't matter. I just like to see the specific list. I think that'll be important for us going forward as we figure out what we need to do as far as a budget to make repairs.
Julie, shouldn't he send it to Richard so that Richard can farm it out to us?
Yeah, but also we need to make sure that he coordinates with Richard, makes sure that he has everything that Richard has, because
Correct.
remember, Richard told us he had his own list going. We need to make sure that these new items that we're going to talk about tonight, and some that, as I went back and watched the October meeting this morning, for another reason, apparently we never went back to problems that we had back in October, and we never revisited those. So those have just been kind of kicked down the road. So we need to address those issues tonight too. And that meeting is on YouTube. If anybody wants to go watch the October 20th or 24th, I can't remember what the date was, meeting. So anyway, okay. Okay, sinkhole and storm sewer failure investigation, Taylor.
So the storm sewer failure investigation, that was what Richard was taking care of that we talked about last time. The storm sewer was regarding the televising, which we did review that televising as I put in my report. We found multiple failed areas and shown extensive work that needs to be done. At that time, when we were discussing it, we were talking about which area and which issue is the worst. You're dealing with a lot of bad issues. At that time, what we said was the sinkhole priority because it's a safety hazard being in somebody's backyard. But if you remember, we did talk about the collapsed pipe at the connection point. That's also a huge issue. So as you guys sit right now with budgetary constraints, there's not a whole lot we can do going forward. The district just needs to give direction if they'd like it on how a lot of this proceeds. I think Richard was authorized to do the sanitary repairs, and I can't remember on the storm sewer repairs.
Yes, the board authorized the 36-inch to be repaired, and it's being worked on right now.
Okay. Were you able to, Richard, get them for a day rate weren't they going to shoot part of, gosh, if I don't remember, what street were they going to shoot? We were going to have them shoot part of a street to see how.
I've talked to 3 people down there and have not been able to get a daily rate. Taylor might have more influence than I do because I can't seem to get a solid number out of them.
Okay.
I'll get with my contacts and we'll make it happen.
Okay. Can you guys work together on that?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Because I think tonight we're going to have some more areas that we need to look at. So, okay. We good with sinkholes and storm sewer failures? Repair C is repair of district facilities. Do we have anything there that we need to look at? Discuss?
At this point, I think that's just a catch-all with things coming
Okay.
up. So we haven't been notified by anything
Okay.
to date as far as the facilities. And for everybody's knowledge, that's the water plants, wastewater plants, and things of that nature.
Okay. Okay, do we have anything that we need to authorize or advertise construction contracts? I know we've got some matters coming up that we need to look at, but I think the one that we need to look at first is going to be under $20,000. So
Are you talking about the Spring Holly?
yeah, Holly Springs.
So while we're on that subject, let's just go ahead and jump to that item.
Okay.
You know, me and Tim went out there and we looked at it. I pulled it up on Google Earth and I've looked at some contours and things like that. Based on the preliminary studies that I was doing, it looks like there's about 20 acres of flow coming into that 36-inch pipe. All that ground slopes to it. A 36-inch cannot handle 20 acres. It's about a 10 to 12 acre pipe. So before we run off and fix it, that pipe was already halfway filled with water. Based off of the storm sewer maps that we got from Richard and what we've been trying to piecemeal together as well, it looks like that 36-inch then goes into a 24-inch and then back to a 36-inch. So there's a bottleneck as well.
Okay.
So I'm really concerned that going in and CIPPing is going to do absolutely nothing. All it's going to do is just have a new pipe. It's going to continue to hold water, and that guy's house is continuing to flooding. You know, we're limited on resources, but what really needs to happen is probably an extensive drainage study in order to evaluate that area and really improve that guy's problem.
Okay.
Now, the roadblock there is you're working with East Plantation. They have to pay 50%.
Right.
So I'm at a loss for words on how to handle it, but the recommendation from us to fix the issue, to actually resolve the issue and figure out what's going on, is going to be a lot more than $20,000, and it's going to take some extensive looking at it, looking at the design, because it was not designed correctly based off of my preliminary study.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask Paul to give his opinion here, because if we don't fix it, where do we sit with that, knowing that that potential liability sits there with us?
Can I ask a question before Paul starts?
Sure.
Yes.
This is a general.
Can I ask the public to mute, and did we just lose Richard?
We lost Richard.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, maybe I'll call back in here in a second.
You want Paul to go ahead?
I can speak to it while we're
Okay.
waiting, so we don't have dead space here. So Julie, it's a slightly complicated issue, but basically what it boils down to is the district's responsibility kicks in when we know there's a problem, right? And we do have a responsibility to look for problems, maintain our system in an effective way. And so we know there's a problem here on this street, this area. I don't think it's irresponsibility, which is what really creates the liability. If we say we're not going to do a Band-Aid, we want to wait to do a full fix.
Right.
But we need to do that full fix with some urgency. So if it's a situation where we're 6 months away from a full fix, I do think we need to go address the sort of immediate issue. If we can get the better fix soon, I think we're okay waiting a little bit, because you're a prudent, you're spending public money.
Right.
So, you don't have to waste it just for a few week bandage. So hopefully that's helpful.
Sure.
So what I'm saying is, if it's too long, you need to do the interim step. If it's not, we can wait and do what we know needs to be done out there.
Okay. All right, Taylor, how long would a study of this sort take? And what would be the cost of that study? approximately?
So Jeff and I were discussing this a little bit earlier on, and we're probably looking at 2 to 3 months to really study it, and about $10,000.
Okay.
Hey, Julie,
Are you
I'm sorry, I
back?
got cut off.
Okay.
Yeah, my phone just went out.
Okay.
I was trying to ask the question to Paul and to Taylor. Are we, as the district, responsible for the drainage for that 20 acres that's not in our district?
Well, okay. So these are facts. We're being brought up to speed sometimes at these meetings. So the 20 acres is not. I guess that's EPUD.
No,
All
it's
right.
not EPUD. It's a separate county piece of property that's outside of EPUD's boundaries and ours.
Is it? And do we know if it's is it draining to that pipe? I mean, I'm sorry to sound ignorant on it, but these are the things we learn here in these meetings. So is it draining to us?
So as far as I can tell
can't
from my preliminary study, the land slopes, based on the contours and everything, the land slopes all to that swell, which then means it would transfer to the swell to that drainage pipe. So
Got it.
on a preliminary basis, it appears that that's what it's doing.
And it can I, since I don't know, I don't charge the district to go out there. Is it undeveloped? Is there development on the 20 acres? I'm sorry, I don't know that.
It's undeveloped.
Okay, so here's my answer. If that property drains naturally to the point where we have our smaller pipe, yes, we have to receive it. We're required to receive the natural flow of drainage. If the drainage has been modified in some way, no, we do not have to receive it absent some agreement, which would be some contract, whatever it would be, a delayed annexation. There could be a number of ways to do it. So since it's not developed, I assume there's no contract in place. What I believe is happening is it is the natural flow of drainage, and we do have the duty to receive the natural flow. No question about that. And if we obstruct it, there's potential liability there. And so we know there's an issue, so we have a duty to address it. It doesn't mean we have to jump up and do interim things that don't really make long-term sense, but we do need to immediately start, addressing the problem.
So doing a study would be recognized as addressing the problem?
I believe that, yes, we need to get our head around. It's just like you take your car, just as a simple example, to the mechanic. They don't start fixing it right away. They got to look at and figure out what the problem is. It's a complicated issue, so it would be totally expected to need a little while to study it. So as we start studying it, and then when the results come in, we need to do something about it.
Is this a problem that's been ongoing, or is it something that's just started?
No, it's been ongoing.
For years and years?
Yes. He flooded during Harvey. He flooded during Imelda, and he almost flooded. His garage flooded during that little storm we had a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
When people were posting the pictures.
I'm talking about this extra water we're taking on from another area.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a homeowner.
It's a homeowner.
Can you put a berm up for a temporary fix?
Taylor, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Taylor, I need to find out. If I was told that the guy that owns that property in front of it there had reshaped the property to drain his property off in that direction. Is there any way you can get topography of an earlier date, a couple of years, to find out if that's true? Then I can go with Paul's natural runoff.
Yeah, that's a totally different scenario.
Yeah.
If that property's been redirected, this is all very complicated stuff. If he's changed the natural flow, it's all based on natural flow, then that affects the analysis.
But not the homeowner we're talking about, the homeowner next to him.
Yeah, the homeowner that's been damaged hasn't done anything. It's the homeowner behind him.
Yeah.
So the homeowner, the downstream of this guy?
Correct.
Yes.
No, he's
the
actually
ditch
upstream,
sits
Paul.
between them. Yeah, the ditch sits between them.
Well, I don't think it really matters if you divert the flow of water and it causes damage, then whether it's whoever it is, it's wrong, and it has.
I agree with that, Mark.
What? Yeah, and that's why we've got to look and see. But I think this was happening before. Actually, it was probably happening before. Well, it's different storms, but it was happening. It happened back before Harvey. So,
Yes,
and that
is
was
correct.
that was when that person bought the house. Was right before Harvey. So.
Yeah.
No, but yeah,
According to
Mark, you said a smart comment there. If you divert the natural flow, whoever you impact by that, whether they're above you, below you, left to or right of you, you're responsible for that. So that is something to know if it's contributing. But the district's issue is we have to receive in a responsible way the water that comes to us. And if we're responsible for development out there, we need to address it. But if someone is diverting the flow and affecting their neighbor, that is also a very important issue.
Do you
Now
want me to move it?
That's not something we can specifically address, right? It would that takes more discussion and thought. We need to look into that if that's happening.
So, I mean, part of our thing, it's a little complicated to get older contours, but what I was looking at it was from a wide range of things, the natural slope of the land in terms. When I was out there, all he had done is kind of channelize water to flow to that area. So he might not have necessarily changed the flow, meaning it flowed one way and then reversed the flow. It's more so he channelized the flow that was already coming that way into the existing swell. So in that scenario, even I'd have to look at the Montgomery County rules. I know in Harris County, it can be tricky as well because it's the natural slope of land still, and he didn't actually develop the land. Once you develop the land, you're only allowed pre-existing development flows.
That's right.
So you have to provide the detention. After that, you know, if it's still pre-development flows coming to it, it's not any different.
And Taylor, now that you said that, I do remember that when I was out there about 1.5, 2 years ago. I remember he had dug a channel going to that ditch. And
Yeah, I've seen that channel as well.
I talked to that homeowner, and he told us that he had dug a channel going to that ditch because he was getting water.
Yeah, that is correct. He did dig the channel there. I saw that too.
Yeah. So, okay. So, at this point, do we want to authorize them to proceed with the study to see what we have going on here? Because we have a potential liability. The reason we know this is because the homeowner has sent a letter to the attorneys and to myself, and I don't know who else they sent it to.
CIA.
The CIA. Oh, they did send it to the CIA?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay. So, wanting this issue addressed. So I think based on what we're hearing, we have some potential liability here.
But I think our first step is we need to get our partners at EPUD involved so that we're all working on this together.
Well,
the homeowner has contacted Preston, and Preston has told him point blank, we don't have the funds in our budget to do anything to help you.
That's not the issue.
Also,
we need to request them to join us. We need to request that they join us in the effort to correct this.
That's true, but that's going to have to be at this point addressed probably by the attorneys to their attorney and to address the issues of their agreement with us.
Julie, I would make a motion that we go ahead and start the process of doing a study because we've just got liability just like crazy over there.
Okay. Do I have a second on that motion?
I'll second that. We have to look into it no matter what to find out if we're responsible or we're not responsible, We need to work it.
Right.
Yep.
Agree.
I agree. So, okay, I have a second. So all in favor?
Mark, aye.
Tim, I.
Gerard, aye.
Yeah. Tom, I
Julie,
I
aye.
also think
Oh,
think
go
we
ahead,
need
Tom.
to also direct our legal team to contact East Plantation and let them know we need their assistance in this effort
That's
to
correct.
take care of it. Regardless, it's not a matter if they got money or not, they have responsibility.
That's exactly, they're in the same boat we're in.
Correct.
We can paddle together or we can paddle separately. So,
I think that makes a lot of sense, and I also think it would be helpful once we have some analysis and maybe an exhibit and can show the line and the drainage area and all that kind of stuff to be able to include that. So.
okay. All right, Taylor, you know what you got to do. Okay, next one is, well, okay, yeah, next one is preparation of the park bond application.
I say we do it.
Okay, you gonna make a motion?
And just so everyone's clear, this is to authorize the engineers to begin preparation of the application so that we can obtain TCQ approval to then move forward with a future park bond sale.
Then I so move.
All right, Mark
Tim
made a
seconds.
motion. Tim seconds. All in favor?
Mark, aye.
Tom,
Oh.
I
Tim, I.
Gerard, aye.
Julie, aye. Okay. Taylor, you have anything else, or Jeff, you have anything else before we go on?
Not unless something else comes up.
Oh, well, hang on. Just sit tight.
I'm just here watching tonight, that's all.
Yeah, just
I
sit
think
tight. Holly Spring. Okay. Oh, go ahead. Who?
No, I was
Some-
about to say, whoever that dog's barking, feed him, please.
Oh, I can't hear a dog. So, okay.
I hear a dog in the background somewhere.
Okay. Okay. So number 4, drainage matters and repairs. Holly Springs, we've just discussed. So are we good with not discussing it anymore until we know where we stand on it?
Yeah, I think we wait till we get the study.
Okay. Okay. I also had them add Upper Brandon, because if you looked at the pictures from that rain, and that was not a heavy rain we had a couple of weeks ago.
No.
Okay. Upper Brandon is where the truck drove off the side of the road and ended up, and it was a big lumber truck is what it was. Drove off the side of the road because there was so much water he couldn't see where the road was. And when I went by there probably 30 minutes after that picture posted, the water was up almost to the top of the wheel well. Okay. So that has to be addressed. And
Can I say
Taylor-
something,
oh,
Julie, real
sure,
quick?
sure.
It was not a bad storm, but if I'm correct, we had something like 21 days of good rain in a 30-day period.
Mm-hmm.
It was
So
in the middle
all
of
that stuff,
yes.
all that stuff builds up. I'm not saying we don't have a problem. I'm just saying it's not a one-day storm. It's if the ground's already saturated, where's it going to go?
I totally understand, but that's our responsibility to make sure it goes in the drains and the storm sewers. Okay.
Yeah,
but
Julie, I want to make a comment. That guy
Okay.
drove off the road and it was simply, the water was in the ditch, but we have other people that have sinkholes in their backyard and the water is coming up and almost getting in their houses. I think they are more important than this, to be honest with you. I'm not saying trying to minimize this one, but if he hadn't driven off in the ditch, he wouldn't have had that problem.
yeah, I know, but
If
if you let me finish, I think it's stemming from another problem. Okay. So as I was thinking about this, and as I went back and watched the October 20th or whatever date it was in October meeting, we had asked Richard at that point in time to get bids on fixing the 48-inch drain pipe storm sewer drain in Gwen Huruska that has just been continually filled in with dirt, filled in with dirt, filled in with dirt. Okay. Richard, have you ever gotten those quotes? Because it's never come back up at another meeting.
No, that one was one that was kind of like put on hold because that's the one we're going to have the engineer get involved with because that's definitely going to be over $100,000. I went and remeasured it against. That's you're talking 836 feet of 48-inch line. That's not going to be 75,000.
But isn't
so we're
that
gonna have
that's our main? That's the main drain for Brandon.
It's one of them. It's not the main one, but it's one of them. Where did that truck go off exactly? I'm not.
Upper Brandon, across RP Drive.
Across RP Drive.
North side of RP Drive.
Yeah.
Okay. Wouldn't that be the county roads there? We don't have any main drainage there, do we?
What?
Wouldn't that be the county's drainage on that on the Upper Brandon?
I thought we were responsible
I thought we had
for the drainage.
I thought we were responsible for the drainage in our district.
Not along the county roads. We're not. Only from the collection boxes into the system.
Is Upper Brandon a county road?
Yes.
So Brandon Road is a county road?
Yes.
My first
collection box is. Yeah, my first collection box is way at the bottom on the other side.
Okay, well, then we may have a problem that we need to work with the county on. But I think we've got to get that we've got to figure out, and I understand that 48-inch line, but I think that's where everything feeds into. And if it can't feed into it, where's it going?
That particular Upper Brandon Road goes under the golf course and comes across the other side of RP Drive and goes the back way out by Robert E. Lee. That's a separate line.
I can tell you there was no water running there. There was no water running that way that night.
I'll go look at that area you're talking about. I think I know the area you're talking about.
We can go look at it. I'll show you exactly where it was. You know where the road splits and goes around that? I think there's a tree or something in the middle of it.
There's a tree there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, okay. I know which area you're talking about now, where they just tore that house down.
Yes, where the house burned down. Yes, by there.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Further down towards RP Drive from that, though.
Okay, yeah. That's the collection box that goes across the golf course and goes underneath RP Drive and comes out on the other side.
And none of that water was moving. It was just sitting there.
I know which box to go look at. I'll go look at that tomorrow. But the drainage along the side of the road is the county's.
Well, I don't know where the drainage was, but there was no drainage. I can tell you.
Yeah.
Because 30 minutes later, it was just sitting there. It was not moving. It was not flowing. It was not doing anything.
Got it. Okay, I'll go take a look at that.
Okay. So then Lower Brandon, Taylor, you want to put that on your list to look at and figure out what we need to do with that one? Because, and I think.
It's already on it.
Okay. I was going to say, I think you and I and Paul and Tim went and looked at that one.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, that one Taylor's definitely going to have to come up with specs to go out to bid on.
Okay.
Yes, and Julie, I would just add, when Richard goes out and looks at Upper Brandon or anything else, if he could send an email to to Taylor, copy Davis, copy me, whoever, so we can keep track of what the findings are.
Right.
It would just, if it needs to get on Taylor's list, we don't need to wait to the next board meeting for that to happen.
Yeah, I'll call Taylor and make sure he's got it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Richard.
Okay. Now, also, I think we've got, and I know I'm monopolizing this, but Tom, you brought it up. We've got other houses with sinkholes that are. Suzanne, are you on the call still? Suzanne Courier?
I'm here.
Okay. Where you're on? Which hole are you on?
Augusta 8.
Augusta 8. Okay. Augusta 8 were you the one that posted the pictures of the water going up to your neighbors?
Yes.
Okay. Richard and Taylor, I have no idea where Augusta 8 is, but
I know where
we
that's
have
at.
okay, we have a serious problem there because that water was within, I mean, I didn't see it, Suzanne, but I'm gonna guess by those pictures within 6 inches to a foot of their door.
Of the neighbor's house.
Yes.
Across
the
the
neighbor's
pond.
house. Yes.
Across the pond.
Yep. And those
I'm familiar
are
with
the
that house.
sinkhole,
Yes.
those were the sinkholes that I think you just filled in, Richard.
Yeah, those are just little ones. That's really not where her water's coming from. It's coming from all over when that lake overflows and off the golf course.
Okay.
I know which house you're talking about. That water comes in their backyard all the time in a heavy rain.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know of any other areas, Tom?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what park it is. It's the first one when you leave RP Drive on Stonewall Jackson. The first one on the left, is that Atlanta or out something like that? There's
Yes,
houses
you're coming in on the left.
Yeah, well, if you're coming in on RP Drive and turn left on Stonewall Jackson, then the
Yeah.
first park on your left.
That's
Yeah.
Atlanta.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's some up in there that's got holes in the pipes behind them, and I heard just this week that one of the people in there is trying to get their own drainage people to fix it for them because the water's getting up to their back door now.
That's
and
correct.
it hasn't done that in the past.
Oh, that one that's been filled in and come back, it's now causing a drainage issue.
Yeah, and
Yes.
they tried to get a third party to fix it, and the third party's saying they can't fix it, and they're saying, and I'm hearing that the water's coming up almost to their back door. I think we
All right.
need to look at it anyway.
Richard, do you know which house that is? If not, I can tell you which house it is privately. You know which one it is?
I think I know which one it is.
Is
Yeah.
it
If
between
not, I
Atlanta
can
Park
find out.
and
It's on
and the
Atlanta
first Park on Beauregard?
No, it's on Atlanta.
Yeah, it's on it.
Yes. It's
No,
on
it's in Atlanta Park.
But it's
Right.
on that main drain line that comes from Beauregard to the golf
Yeah.
course.
It's there. They've been trucks there.
Right.
There's people that've been working.
That's
in
where
there,
we're working.
Well, that's ours.
But it's
Yes.
between Atlanta. Between Atlanta and that first park off of Beauregard.
Well, no, Mark, you're talking about the one where the what was it, a 36-inch pipe opened in their backyard? That was
Yes.
one we authorized a couple of weeks ago, or I guess it was last month.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Right.
This is a different
They're working
house,
on that
but
one.
on that same line.
Okay.
Richard,
If it's the house I'm thinking of,
Yeah, I'll text
okay.
you tomorrow.
I think I know which one you're talking about. I think there's a 24-inch that runs alongside his property there.
Yeah, it runs behind it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'll go look at that.
All right. Do we know of any others, Tom?
No, that's the only one I'm aware. I know some others but I don't know that they don't sound as critical as that one. But
Okay.
can I deviate a minute? Can you hear me better now?
I can hear you. I could always hear you.
Well, I'm trying to do a different way now, so I'm just trying to find.
That's a lot better. That's a lot better, Tom.
Okay. All right. They're saying it's better, so. Okay. All right. So do we need to discuss storm sewer failures and sinkholes? Or are we good with that? We got a big enough list.
Mhm.
And what I want to say to the general public is if you have sinkholes forming, or if you know that your neighbors have, the only way we're going to know about them is if you tell us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can't walk, or we can, but I'm not going to walk in people's backyards to see if they have sinkholes forming. So if you have one, please let us know. Okay. And I think we have somebody that raised their hand.
The Caspers probably want to respond to that.
Okay. So you can unmute. Oh, let's see. Hello?
Yes,
Robert.
Julie, this is Robert.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
regarding Lower Brandon Road. How many of those homes are there are basically condemned? That I know there are people that have been buying those homes and they're renting them out, but are we putting a lot of money into parts of Brandon Road that maybe 90% of it is really condemned? Do y'all look at that? Is that part of your equation?
It's not, yeah, but it's our concern, my concern anyway, is not, I mean, it is those homes, but it's not the homes that are condemned, and there's only one home that's condemned. I don't think any of them are condemned. So yet, I think one's in the process, maybe.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
the other ones are, the other, huh?
I was going to say our responsibility is to get the water out of the district.
Our responsibility
regardless
is drainage.
of what's down.
And remember, stuff rolls downhill, and Lower Brandon is called Lower Brandon for a reason, because it's lower than Upper Brandon. So
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah.
in order to fix it lower, in order to fix the upper, we have to fix the lower, wherever it goes.
Yep.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Paul.
No, I was going to say the Caspers also have a comment. It shows muted on my computer, which means you would need to click to unmute on your own computer, but we'd love to hear from the Caspers.
Do the Caspers have a question or a comment? If you click the microphone on my screen, it's on the top. If you click the microphone on the top, it should unmute you. Okay. Maybe
That's
later
okay.
on.
It's on the right on mine.
Oh, mine's up at the top. So, okay. Anyway, all right. So the next thing on our list is the Construction Finance Committee recommendations. This was Tim Goodman, Gerard Smith, trying to come up with some ideas on how we're going to finance these projects that we've just discussed and any other projects that are probably going to come up in the next couple of months. So anybody want to start?
I will.
Okay.
The decision was to not do a set amount per month subsidy. We decided that we would raise the rates both on water and sewer, and that's part of your packet today.
Page 23, starting on page 23 is the two rate schedules.
Tim, when you say we, you're talking about you and Richard?
That's what it ended up being.
Yeah, I had some confusion about what Construction Finance Committee's charter is, and but I'll wait. But I just wanted to clarify what we was. I'll come back to that in just a minute.
I thought
the charter was to
go ahead, Tim.
come up with funding.
Discussed last week or last month.
The charter was to come up with funding, and that's what I did. And with the help of Richard, we discussed various rate changes and how they would benefit the MUD without harming any particular category too bad. And an across the board sewage hike for everybody.
And what rate did you put that sewage hike in at?
$2, I believe, was what we did, Richard.
Yes, $2 what we did.
Yeah, I've been looking at it, and I think overall, what you've come up is a really good idea. Except I suggest that we make it a $5 increase on the sewage, and I'll tell you the reason. From what I'm looking at, since before I was on the board, even this district has been running in a deficit funding I don't know even how far back it goes. And I'm from private enterprise, you know, and if you have something that's running in a deficit, you fix it if you can. But I figure we're running between $10,000 to $12,000 a month in deficit spending. Now, my figure, you're looking at your plan, that you come up with close to $8,000-9,000 of that on a monthly basis on this plan. And if we raise the sewer to a total of $5 increase, that will pick up the other $4,000 and give us about a $12,000 a month increase without really hurting anybody too much. I mean, the minimum bill will go from something like where it was running around 35 to it'll go to maybe as high as $45 a month. As you go higher usage, obviously, it's going to go up. But I think it's a very sound bill if we can, but I would recommend we change the sewer rates, increase at 5 instead of 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Remember,
Tim,
remember. Okay, go ahead, Richard.
I'm sorry, Julie. If I
That's
could jump in here, if the 3 sheets that I put out to you guys are, if you look at the first one, it says 2020 to 2021 12-month average. That is our actual past 12 months. I put everything in there on the books that we had, and as you'll see at the end of the year, you'll end up with, it's roughly $52,000 a month between the water and the sewage. That's actual right now, and within the past 12 months, which gives you $634,000 at the end of the year as an actual average. So if you look at the next sheet, which is the 12-month projection, there's 2 main changes that took place in that one. That's Tim gave me a bunch of numbers and I plugged them all in. I created a formula and plugged them all in. The difference between the actual right now and Tim's proposal is that we dropped the minimum from 0 to 5,000 to 0 to 3,000. That's going to catch a lot of people that you're missing right now in that 5,000 range. That's too wide of a gap, in my opinion, for the lower flows. When you look at that now, and you put Tim's figures in here, which is on one of your other sheets, that he raised it the minimum to 1275 from 980, and that will generate a lot more because you're catching the people that are the biggest group, as you can see in there. They're the ones where the revenue is. The upper end ones, yes, you can charge a lot, but as you can see, the annual average is roughly 9 that go over 50,000. It's not that great of a. So that projection will give you 68,800 a month average for a total annual of 826,176. Now, I put in Tom's recommendation on the 12 months projection water and sewer sheet and left Tim's water revenue in there and added Tom's $5 increase to sewage. So now you went to $74,000 a month and $894,000 a year. So those are the 3 sheets there that should give you a definite idea of revenue that could be increased by that. And
so Richard, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
You said 12-month projection, but there's actually 13 months on this sheet. So did you divide everything by 12 or did you divide it by 13?
Actually, you're right. I think I divided it by 13.
Oh, you
did
divide, if you did divide it by 13, you're okay. If you divided it by 12, we got a problem. Okay.
No, it is right. Yeah.
Back to the book.
Yep. So I'm trying to put as much information as I could in those projections to give them to you there based on Tom's input and Tim's input.
Okay. Gerard, do you have a plan? Or Mark, do you have any recommendations, plans, whatever?
So
no, ma'am.
No, Julie, I just want to kind of go back to what the purpose of the committee was. And I know it was titled or agreed it was going to be the Construction Finance Committee. And I had put out there, sent to Tim, projected way forward. And then I'd received feedback that that the purpose of the committee was intended to be just for emergency repairs. So I'm kind of surprised to see that the rate increase is tied to emergency repairs, or maybe it's not actually emergency repairs that is the focus of the committee. So I'd like to get some clarification on that, and I'd like to understand also with this increase. Do we know where that money is destined for? What it's going to be spent on?
It's going to be spent on operations and repairs that we just discussed.
So basically, that means anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Go into the general fund.
Because
it's not going to be enough to earmark a specific project at this point. It's just the general fund.
Right. We're operating at a deficit every month. In order to continue to operate, we have to increase our revenues somehow.
Okay, but they're not earmarked just for emergency repairs.
No.
Okay.
No, that's what I was going to do with my plan that everybody said they didn't want to do.
Richard, do you,
Sure.
just for giggles, do you happen to have that City of Houston chart that we talked about yesterday?
Yeah, did that get in the folder?
No.
I sent it. Okay.
I mean, it just as an example, the amount of money that is going to cost a City of Houston resident for water and sewer for 3,000 gallons, where we're going to charge them $12.75 for 3,000 gallons. City of Houston, their rate is going to be
a lot more.
a lot more.
I was thinking
Richard's got the
thinking of
chart.
somewhere around 2 something, wasn't it?
I saw in the paper today, but it's up there.
Yeah, they passed a 70% increase over the next 2 years.
The minimum bill for City of Houston is $37.16 because I get it every week or every month.
That's what it is now, or that's what it's going to be?
That's what it is now.
Okay.
So guys, instead of basing our rates off of what Houston has and what Houston's needs are, I mean, my intent would be to get a more comprehensive plan to assess what our actual needs are, especially what our priority needs are. And then once we know what our needs are, then we really know how much of an increase we need. I mean, I'll be honest with you, just from a broad view, I think you do need to increase moderately both your rates and your taxes. But without really knowing what your needs are, I don't see how you do either. And unfortunately, I think that's where we are. We don't have a reserves policy. We don't have a reserves-based budget. We have a budget that's just, okay, here's how much money is coming in, and here it is percentage-wise based out to different areas. And I know that Julie, you mentioned earlier that
we don't have a reserve.
That you mentioned earlier that that you're planning on making some changes to the way you do budgeting next year, and I definitely support that. But you know, as a nonprofit organization, I think you probably recognize what the AICPA is, and you may recognize you know, their recommendations for a reserves policy for nonprofits, and so you know, I think that all needs to be combined together. Now, is that to say that you know, I don't think we need to increase the rates right now? No, I do, and I think this is a pretty moderate increase, but I think we need a more comprehensive plan as soon as possible, and that's what I was hoping that we would be doing in the Construction Finance Committee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mark, do you have any comments?
Not at this time, no, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So my only comment is going to be, yes, I am very well aware what the AICPA is. Second of all, we don't have a reserve budget because we don't have a reserve. Thirdly, I was not involved in preparing the budget at any time on this board. But fourthly, how many more months are we going to kick this can down the road and delay funding these projects and funding whatever we're going to do? We discussed it last month. It's going to take, we're going to have to give these people 2 months notice before we start collecting a dime of this increase.
So Julie, if you're interpreting that I'm saying to kick the can down the road, then I'm not communicating clearly, because what I said is I think we need a comprehensive plan sooner rather than later. And I'm not averse to the rate increase. In fact, I think it's quite moderate and probably not enough, but I don't think we know what we need right now.
Okay.
Well, I think that as a group, we know we need at least $15 million worth of repairs, because that's what we came up with before the bond issue. So to say that we don't have a comprehensive plan on what needs to be done, we got a lot of stuff on that list that we know needs to be done. Tonight, we've discussed projects that need to be done, including one that's going to be over $100,000. So I think while it would be wonderful to have specified uses for the funds, right now it just needs to go in the general fund and start funding these things that we've got to get done. Especially we're in hurricane season right now. We're staring in the eyes of potential danger.
Tim, that's exactly where I'm going. We need to spend the money on things that need to be done most urgently. And I don't think the CIP spells that out.
Okay.
Okay.
Tom, you had something to say?
Yeah, I do. I think we all agree with what Jared's saying. We need a more comprehensive plan. And my feeling is that this is simply a phase one of getting started to get us back to a break even on a monthly basis so we can start addressing. And then we need to start, as Gerald just said, we need to start working on another plan to take care of this drainage that was kicked down in the bond issues that we still have to take care of. That plan does need to continue to grow. But right now, we'd ought to see if there's any other discussion on this plan, because I'd like to see us go forward with it tonight, get it published on our website, and let the people know what's coming. And I don't think anybody's going to complain about these rates.
If I can make a suggestion, I really think that there are, kind of two issues. I mean, the biggest one is right now you're paying for kind of these emergency, capital items out of your operating budget. And so, I think that there are two issues. One, figuring out how to deal with the capital improvements and repairs to the system. And two, trying to figure out how to shore up your budget. And frankly, I think it's likely that, you go through kind of a transition over the next year, as hopefully we get litigation wrapped up and the, and you stop paying some expenses that would be typically paid from capital funds out of your operating funds. Hopefully it will relieve some pressure on your budget. You have a pretty limited ability to raise your maintenance and operations tax under state law. Very, very limited ability. And so, your water rates and debt service funds are going to be your primary, primary sources of revenue and ability to complete repairs. So.
Okay. Any comments? Do we want to go?
I have a question. I'm sorry, I just got my mic to work. Can you hear me?
Who is this?
This is Charlotte. This is Charlotte Casper. Regarding this specific issue, I do have a question for you guys. We recently had to refill our pool due to the trauma from the freeze, and our water bill didn't change. Now, you would think that we were expecting a $200 to $300 water bill for our pool. And Julie, I see you laughing. So my question is, is the rate the same for like 20,000 gallons versus, our usual like 5,000 to 10,000?
Shouldn't be.
No, it shouldn't be. You're absolutely right. So then The second question is are our water meters being accurately read? Because that could be attributing to the deficit that we're seeing. And that is a huge concern, you know? I mean, if my water bill didn't increase and I basically got water for free, there's what, 1,500 residents here in our homes that we're talking about?
Well, only 940 are in RPMUD. But
Okay.
yeah.
But there's many of us who own pools who had to refill our pools after the freeze. Do you see where I'm going
Julie,
with
can
this?
Yep. Go ahead,
Can
Richard.
Okay, I can answer your question very, very easily and very accurately. You're not going to like the answer for the next one, though. But the last month's bill that you got in May is an estimate. We could not read the meters in May because of the rain. They were underwater. So it duplicated the previous month's readings for that May bill that you got, which you're right. It was exactly what you used the month before. However, this
Richard,
month's
wait a
billing is...
April should have been high because the freeze was in February.
Right. I refilled my pool in April. So my May bill should have been way higher. And my April bill, no, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, because I got it filled before the 15th of April, which is generally when you guys read the meters. Unless something's changed.
That's before we had the estimate, so you're right. That should have gone up. I'll be glad to look into that for you.
I don't want to pay a higher water bill, but I'm putting my neck out on the line to help you guys figure out this deficit. That's why I'm attending these meetings, because I know as a homeowner, I know my water bill's not right. And if my water bill's not right, then that means you guys probably have proceeds that should be coming in that aren't being accounted for. So something's wrong with the system here. That's all I'm saying.
I appreciate you bringing that to our attention.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it with my checkbook, but
I'll be glad to calibrate your meter to make sure it's right on the money.
Oh, I deeply appreciate that. I'm sure you guys do too.
Hey, Richard, speaking of this, I actually have another one that I know is not being read correctly that I'll get with you on.
Okay.
So I was not going to bring it to your attention, but I will later.
Sure.
Hey, quick question, Richard. What is the district's schedule for replacing meters? Are you guys doing it every 1,000,000 gallons? How much are y'all doing it?
I replaced them in 2006. That was the last time they were replaced. We try to do
sort of defining line that you replace them with by.
No, when we can tell when they're starting to go out, then we'll just pull them and replace them. We've been sporadically replacing them as we see usage going down, and also some of them are getting clouded up, so you can't read them anymore. So we'll replace them. But we randomly do a calibration test on them, and if they drop below 95%, then we'll replace it.
Okay, I just was wondering what the district's plan was.
I have a question.
Sure, go ahead, Ms. Rick.
Is there a control in place to say water production versus gallons billed to say we're within range, we're not out? That should be a good point to look at. Obviously, there's a water loss, and of course, that water loss may not really be lost. It just didn't show up in the bill. So, and then I would look at the computer system and make sure everything is correct there too. That's my observation there.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, we do have a report that tells us that. So, okay, so getting back to the point at hand. What do we want to do? Do we want to make a motion tonight to increase the sewer rates and the water rates? Do we want to wait? What do we want to do? If somebody wants to make a motion, make a motion.
Well, I'd like to see if there's any other discussion first, but I think we need to make a motion on it. If not, does anybody else have anything else they want to say? If not, I'll make a motion that we accept this proposal with the $5 increase on the sewage and make it as active as soon as we can do so, and notify the public on the website as well as on social media to let them know what's going on.
Okay.
And I don't know if anybody wants to second it or not.
I'll second it with the clarification that it's going to have the new water rate as well as the $5 sewer rate.
Correct. That's exactly what I want. Let them see everything that we're talking about doing.
I second.
Okay. So just clarification. That means you haven't read the meters yet for this month, correct, Richard?
No, we just read them.
Okay. So August is the first month. July bill due in August is the first month.
That's fine.
Okay.
We got to get started.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify it for the public. I just, it's not like it's going to be tomorrow. So, okay.
And Richard, you'll make sure to provide notice to all the customers in a timely manner before that, first gallon is used.
Oh, so do we need to wait until
do I need,
August reading?
There's not a legal notice requirement, but I think it's good practice. I think you should put it up on the website and share that information, with your customers.
Do we want to put it effective?
Increase, and frankly, the $5 on the flat sewer rate, that's going to affect all customers regardless of volume. So, but I do think that it is good practice to provide notice to your customers. I might suggest putting a note on the bills that you're about to send out and putting something on the website. That would be a common approach.
I agree. Notify any way we can.
I agree. Well, I can put the rate increase on the next billing because I'm limited with space on these little cards. And this month I have to put the notice for the CCR on there to be effective by July 1st.
So if you put it on the next billing, that'll be the billing the increase is on. So do we want to wait until the August reading?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can put it on the next billing. The next billing out that the effective at the next reading, your rates are going to go up.
Usually we have to vote on it before we can do anything.
Well, I know, but we got to get it clarified when we're going to, I know, but we got to get it clarified what we're going to do before, so we know what we're voting on. At least in my mind, anyway. I need to know what I'm voting on. So are we voting that the increase is going to take effect? If he's putting the notice on the bill when he reads it in July, it won't take effect until the bill that comes out at the end of August. Is that correct? Is that what everybody's?
That's what it sounds like.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm on the right page. So
Richard, is there not an insert that you can include or something for like 10 cents a bill?
We send out postcards.
Ours are just postcards.
Okay.
And what's the CCR, Richard?
Consumer confidence report. We have to put that out every year. That's a TCEQ requirement.
Is that a letter or does it go on the postcard?
No, we just give them notice to where they can find it on the web page, and it's already posted on the web page.
TCEQ rules allow you to either distribute a hard copy or to distribute it by direct link. But it is all of your water quality testing data. It addresses TCEQ violations and things like that. So certain violations require certain language, et cetera, et cetera. But it's kind of a look back at the prior year.
Okay. So when did you read the meters, Richard?
We just got done reading them.
They were reading
like
them
today or yesterday?
Yesterday and the day before.
So they've already used a drop this month then. So
Yep.
it can't be on the July bill. So it'll have to be on the August bill.
August. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So Tim made a motion that we increase the water rates. Okay. Oh, Tom made who made the motion? Tom made the motion? Sorry. Tom made the motion. Tim seconded it. Effective August reading. Everybody on
Tim,
the same
Richard,
page?
I've got a question before we vote. Is there a typical amount that this is going to go up or percentage? I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm seeing it's probably around a 25% increase. Is that about right? Or am I looking at something grossly wrongly?
That's what I
it's more
figured
than
out,
that.
Gerard.
I heard Mark. I didn't hear Tim.
It's more than that. It's based on usage, and it starts at roughly 30% and then stair steps up to 50% at the 50,000 gallon usage rate. It stair steps up roughly 5% each category. Does that make sense?
Yep. Thanks for the clarification. That's what I wanted.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion. We have a second. All in favor?
Mark says aye.
Gerard,
Tim,
aye.
aye.
Tom, aye.
Julie, aye. Okay, so effective August billing. Okay.
Yep.
Or August bill, the bill that goes out in August. Okay. Okay, review the financial and bookkeeping matters. The bookkeeper's report. I honestly didn't have any questions on it because
Well, that's Gerard. Okay, so as per previously mentioned, I'll ask the question to Richard. Richard, have you asked the bookkeeper to break out the legal fees into general counsel, litigation, administration, and I guess a couple of others that I just thought of would be like requests for proposal, requests for information, and bonds?
Gerard, you can get that every month on the bill.
I know
You can
that,
go
but I
down
would
to
like
the,
it in
well,
the
just have
bookkeeper's
Richard
report,
send you,
too.
have Richard send you a copy of the bill and do a spreadsheet. I
No,
have my own
I'm asking
spreadsheet
that the
going on things.
bookkeepers do it, Julie. There's no reason that I have to do it. I mean, you've also got members of the community who'd like to see it as well. It's
Yeah,
already
find out
it's billing
how
that's
much your
coming
rates
over.
Find out how much your rates will go up, Richard, for doing breaking it, having to break that out on every bill.
It's
Okay,
it's
what I'll,
broken
what I'll,
up into, I think this one is at least 3 matter numbers. And so I know there's a general counsel, a litigation, an election matter, and that should be an easy thing to break up.
yeah, I think what I'm gonna have to do to make it easier is go back and look at all the bills, break them out like David says. I know how to do that. And then I'll have to add them all up and have her recategorize this into legal fees A, B, and C, and then we'll label those. And that should help.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're talking about 24 bills or something. I don't think it's a
Yeah, it's not
huge
that much for this. Yeah, for
project.
this year, it's not that much. I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fine. And Davis, I assume that things like bonds and elections would fall under general counsel, and I'm okay with that.
Gerard, we actually bill for the bond election separately, so that's all broken out separately.
Okay, if you got it. I mean, if you guys are already sending it over, we just want to get it categorized on the bookkeeper's report. Seems simple. I see Paul, I think, shaking his head. It should be simple too.
Yeah, we break it out on our system when we enter it. We enter it by matter number, and so the bills are generated based on that. So it's already happening.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's just a matter of getting the bookkeeper to record it. Should
Right.
be forward.
Right. So what I'll do is I'll break it out and I'll get with her. She'll give me the code, and then when I go to authorize it and put the code on it, I'll code it so that they'll break out automatically for her.
Sounds reasonable to me. Thank you.
Okay, then while we're doing special requests, I've requested this at 2 previous meetings and still don't have it. Can I get a report that shows through the end of the previous month, year to date through the end of the previous month, not through today? I want one through today, but I also need one through the end of the month so that I can compare apples to apples.
Oh,
Richard?
I thought you talked to her about that already, did you?
I thought you were going to talk to her. I haven't gotten
I did
anything. Let
already.
me put it that way.
Okay. I'll get with her because I did talk to her about that already.
Okay. Okay. Any
When
questions?
I do the legal
comments?
fees, I'll bring it up again.
Okay. Any questions, comments, other comments on the bookkeeper's report?
And just so that was you want a budget to actual comparison, Julie?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, a budget to actual, yes, but through the end of the month, not through today.
Got it.
So that way I can compare apples to apples.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Julie, I've got a question.
Okay.
I know I asked Richard already about this off Cinco. That's, in my understanding, that's our website people.
Correct.
And my opinion, I'm not real pleased with them, but he's telling me that they're charging us $1,300 last month because we had to put all these videos on the website. And that seems a little high to me. But that brings up the other point, and I don't know where to bring it up in the meeting. But I've been looking at other websites, and ours sucks. It doesn't have much information. It's not that easy to work on, and I think we can do it cheaper. And I would like us to look at that. And then I had something else I want to bring up, but I don't know where to talk about it at.
Well, go
That's
ahead.
a good point, Tom.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but anyway, that's one thing I'd like us to do is to look at redesigning our website. There's a couple of places, like I looked at some of the other MUD websites. They got some really nice sites and a lot of information in them, and they don't cost as much as what we're paying, I don't think. And the other thing I wanted to find out is, we're talking about moving forward on the bond thing, get it funded. I would like to get, and I don't know the right place to ask this, but I would like to get the board's approval to talk to the county commissioner about the egress road for emergencies out of Mosswood, so that he can start planning at the same time. We're all assuming we're going to take title to this within the next year, probably. He needs time to plan as well. And I would like to go ahead and I'll do it myself if you want, but somebody contact Charlie, talk to him about, this is what we got in mind. Are you still interested in doing it? And if so, do you want to put it in your budget? Kind of thing, to give him a heads up, so I know it's probably in the right place to put it in there, but I don't know when else to do it.
Okay. So let's go back to off Cinco. Richard, do we have a contract with them? Or are we a month-to-month thing?
I think we're on a month-to-month. I don't remember us signing a contract, but I'll look it up just to be sure.
Okay.
It's normally only about $300 something a month, but
I was
that one
going to
went up
say
because
it's
of all the
normally
videos.
very inexpensive, but they put up,
Yes.
wasn't there like a dozen videos or something they put up there?
Right.
10?
Yeah, plus all the advertisement we did for the bond and everything. All that was done.
Yeah.
That's why it went up so high.
Let me also add, Tom, part of that was frankly to relieve the legal expense. We have gotten, sometimes after meetings, we're getting a dozen requests for these videos. And so the thought process was, I just went and sent Julie an email and said, listen, Julie, I'm getting so many requests for these recordings that we're responding to. Would it be okay if we just worked with the web provider to just make them accessible to the public?
I don't have that.
Yeah. So
I have no that. I just think we can do a better job with it. That's all.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll also say, we have a bunch of clients who use, who have websites, and generally they're viewed as kind of one of the good service providers. And I know that Shannon Wall would be happy to talk to you, and I would encourage you to talk to her. But it's entirely up to the board. Our main concern is that you have a website that stays in compliance, and have a service provider with experience with water district websites. So.
Well, my goal would be to have one that's a little more interactive, where people can find what they're looking for. If they have a question about something, I've
Sure.
seen some of them that have easier ways to pay their bills, to find out what they owe, those kind of things. Some of them, I had one here, you can't see it, I guess, but that I had printed off. I was impressed. They had it all broken out. I don't know what I did with it now. At any rate, I think we can just do, I don't know if you can see any of this, but this is like some of the stuff, if you can see any of that.
Sure.
This is just giving information of where the revenues are coming from into one of the sites or one
Sure.
of the MUDs. And this is just one page of many pages, but they have good illustration and make it easier for their residents to know what's going on. And I would like to see us do it too,
No,
especially if we can do it.
that makes sense. I know that Off-Cinco has kind of the what I'll call the gold, silver, and the bronze package, and a lot of that has to do with how much work the district does to get some of that information posted on their website too. So, but it's entirely up to the board. So that's just.
I just like to look into it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it always makes sense.
Good idea.
Tom, if you want to jump on that, does anybody want to join them? You can only have
I'll
one,
do
but
it.
okay. Does anybody want to
Yeah, I'll
join
do-
Tom, or just do it? I guess you can do it yourself, Tom. So,
But I can.
okay. All right. Hey, Davis, by the way, are you just automatically sending the videos to them now to post? Why don't we just go ahead and do that every month?
Okay, sure.
I mean,
Hopefully it'll be less labor intensive. That they're just
Right.
they're a couple hours long. So,
Yeah.
It's just a large file. So.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
You want
Any
me to
questions?
talk? You want me to talk to Charlie as well?
Sure, if you want to.
Or you think it's too early? I think he needs to.
I don't know. Let's I have no idea.
Has anybody got any thoughts on
Approach
that?
him and see. Approach him and see what he says. I have no idea
Okay.
where we're at. So
Yeah, I don't know if
But-
he's still interested in doing that, but it would sure help the people in Mosswood.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, so back to the bookkeeper's report. Any questions, any comments?
No.
No? Okay. Do we have to vote do we agree to accept, do I have a motion to accept the bookkeeper's report?
I'll make that motion that we accept the bookkeeper's report.
Okay. Do I have a second? Do I have a second?
Mark seconds it.
Okay. All in favor?
Mark, aye.
Tim, aye.
Tom,
Gerard, no.
Julie, aye. Okay. Tax assessor collectors report. Getting kind of slim.
when do we have to start any actions that we don't do on M&O for this year? Is that time coming up here pretty quick?
If we're
Yes.
going to increase the
2
bond rate,
months.
yeah, it should be, is it August or is it July?
Typically August. It'll be
Yeah.
after you get your certified values.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, any
Maybe
questions on the,
we need to have that on our next meeting then, right?
That would be July. So it'd
Yeah.
be your August. Typically, you would call the public hearing to consider the adoption of your rate. Sometime, and Lauren, maybe you have a better feel for current timing under the new, the new law for the appraisal districts. But I mean, I would think with where this board meets, probably August for discussing, a proposed rate and considering adoption in September. Is that?
Yeah, that seems right to me. I mean, with the board meeting late in the month, of course, it depends on when we, as you said, when we get the certified values from Montgomery County. But for the past many years now, they've delivered those in early August. So that should be enough time to prepare the analysis, which should be ready to present the August meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So any questions on the tax assessor collector report?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. The review of investments. Getting kind of thin there, Richard.
Yeah, another skinny sheet.
Yeah, I know. I know.
So, any questions on the investments?
No.
Okay. Next one is we'll just do all of them at one time. Can we just can we vote on them all at one time to accept this, or do we have to do them one at a time?
I think all at once.
Okay.
Yep.
Payment of the district's bills, and this kind of goes with E, D, and E. I've been signing the checks for the district. Richard, is there any reason Tom, as the treasurer, shouldn't be signing the checks? Is he good with the bank and he's able to do it and everything?
No reason at all. He can do it anytime.
Okay.
Do we need to change? Don't we need to change that as a resolution, Davis?
For treasurer?
Well, he's
sign the
treasurer.
check?
I thought we gave him authority to do it back in December or something.
Yeah, but
And then
Richard
we had a
said the
problem with the
wouldn't-
bank.
The bank is going to want to see a resolution. The bank's going to want to see a resolution designating that the change be made from you to Tom.
I thought we did that already. Didn't we already do that?
Well, I thought we
Nope,
did.
not to my knowledge.
I thought we did that a long time ago.
Can we get
All
a
right.
resolution that allows any of us to sign the checks?
We're all on the bank card.
Individually?
But we have to have 3 signatures.
So right
correct.
now, you can have
So
3
we're all
signatures.
directors.
Right.
And then there's also a provision under state law that allows the treasurer to sign.
Okay.
So either or.
Okay.
But
So if we make a resolution right now for Tom's benefit, and down the road we start meeting live,
Right.
We can go back to the 3-person signing and we're okay.
Absolutely. And that's really the preference, is to have, and your auditor would prefer that you have 3 board members sign. The more people you have sign, the more kind of checks and balances that you have. So
yeah.
Yep.
Well, I propose we make a resolution authorizing Tom to be the new signatory for all the district's bills.
Let me ask Richard, I don't want to slow this process down, but I want to make sure that we're clear on what we need for the bank to accept.
That's what I was going to say, because the last time we did this, we had to have a resolution approved by the board, and I had to take it to the bank for them to have it in their hands to authorize Julie to sign only. So I'm thinking we're going to have to do the same thing for Tom.
Okay. Can you confirm that? Would it be okay if we put that resolution on the next agenda to have Tom sign next? Because that way you'll be able to next time.
Right. Yeah, I'll confirm that with the bank tomorrow, and I'll email you on it.
Because you're still, just to remind everybody, you're still in a position where 3 people can sign the checks.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
It's just a logistics issue.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay. All right, payment of the district's bills. Any questions on the bills?
I'll make a motion that we approve the district's bills.
I second.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Tom, I.
Tim, I.
Gerard, I.
Julie, aye.
And just for my clarification, you're signing the bills this time, right, Julie?
Yes, you will be
Okay.
doing it next month, hopefully.
Okay. Only if they vote it that way.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Julie. The banks have been so difficult about those resolutions. I just want to make sure we get that right. So
Hey, speaking of Davis, I sit on 2 other boards, and when I told them that we had stamps for signing our checks, for stamping the check, there was some question about whether we could do that or not. Can we do that?
can the district
Can
do that?
the board member? Yes. Can we use stamps for our signature?
Are you saying that you're doing it now?
Yes. Well, I'm not, because I'm signing them all just because I can't find my stamp. But we were, when we were meeting in person, we were stamping them.
It's been a while since I've looked at it. To the best of my recollection, it is permissible under state law.
Okay.
And I believe it's the Uniform Facsimile Signature Act. But also, to the best of my recollection, the banks aren't crazy about those stamp signatures, and they will accept them. But last I discussed it with a bank, they said that they essentially wouldn't be responsible for fraudulent checks if you used a facsimile signature. So the client that I had looked at it for before decided not to do it because they didn't want to assume the additional liability associated with potential fraud, associated with the facsimile signature.
Okay. Okay. All right. So something we might think about, guys. I know it's a pain signing those checks because I sign them all now. So, but anyway, so something we might think about. So, okay. Now I've misplaced my agenda.
Administrative reports, managers report.
Okay. Administrative reports. Richard, you're up.
Okay, the manager's report on the water side is everything's looking good. I do want to call your attention to the fact that the wastewater plant, as you can see from the rains, went way up in the amount of gallons that it was treated. That's because of infiltration that we have in the system. We managed to trace some of it, so I've notified EPUD on it, and but it's obviously that we got an infiltration problem somewhere, and so we'll have to start looking a little bit more for it. But the plant survived it with no problems. It's carried the load with no issues. On the operational notes, I put on there the heavy rains pushed the storm drainage systems, but there was no issues noted. We had no issues with the drainage system, even in the condition it's in, which it definitely needs to be fixed. I'm not saying anything we can get by with it, but it did handle the load. Lightning storms tripped, and we had a lot of lightning this time. As a matter of fact, I discussed it with Taylor about it, if he's ever seen this. It was tripping all of our soft starts. Now, the soft starts are an electronic device that starts and stops the motors on the wells. And this is one of the reasons why I try to keep as much electronics out of the system. Any little voltage fluctuation or blip or lightning, it tends to trip them. And so that means you've got to have somebody out here manually resetting them, or you lose the well production. So fortunately I was here, so I was able to reset them all and make sure they stayed running. The 2 damaged sewer lines that we talked about last month, both have been repaired and are functioning perfectly fine again. And as I noted, the CIPP has started on the 36-inch behind Macon Park. And they've taken a lot of sand and stuff out of it. And as a matter of fact, I think they finished the last of the sand today. And they're going to start prepping to install the liner. and we'll get that one done. So I am going to go ahead and CIPP the Roanoke line, because we got that point repair fixed, but there was another issue at the front of the pipe, and so once we CIPP, that'll take care of that. We won't have to dig it up again. There'll just be a CIPP problem. But you've already approved that at the last meeting, so I'm just updating you on that. Everything else is running fine. The plants are doing well. There's no issues that need to be brought up as far as operations are concerned, other than the sinkholes. The systems totals report, as you can see, is all in line. We've been really fortunate on the water side that we haven't had any major breaks or anything. So thank God for that. And so we're doing really well on that side as well. And that's it for me.
Did we get all the violations taken care of that we were having with TCEQ?
Yes,
We've got that under control.
Yes, ma'am.
And we all the reports, and I guess this may be a Taylor question, but all the reports that were supposed to have been filed have been filed?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Number 8, preparation of meeting minutes. Was this, Davis, in response to getting Tom and Gerard to do what they're supposed to be doing, or is this in response
I
to
got
something?
it. I understood that there was a request for me to put this on the agenda. We've been preparing the minutes for the last few months, but I'm happy to handle it however.
Okay.
Once, if there's someone else who would prefer to prepare the minutes, I'd be happy for someone else to do it.
Gerard, since you're secretary, do you want to start preparing the minutes again? Save us a little bit of money, or?
Yeah, I don't mind that, as long as we stick with it and don't have any other impromptu changes to who's going to do it. I'm okay with that. I do need to have the recordings made available, of course.
Okay.
And I'll tag on to that is the minutes need to be put in. I think the last minutes on the website are March. It may be later now, but you've got it's taken way too long to get the minutes and transcripts available to the public or the directors.
Okay.
Yeah, Mark, I've already updated everything on the web that I got.
All right.
Okay. Number 9 is a settlement agreement. I don't know what that is.
So, Julie, I was wondering if we
go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was wondering if we can't go into executive, the 13th order, before we talk about the settlement, and then 9th item.
Okay. Does anybody have any problems with that?
Yes, I do. What are you going to be discussing in executive session? Because I'm looking at this list of 4 items. Now, and actually, when I have looked at other agendas, they explain which code, means what, and all we're getting here are the numbers. And I think since you're spending our time too, I think we'd like to know what's going on. Oh, this is D, in case anybody didn't recognize my voice. So are you just going to be discussing the park? Or are you going to be discussing everything else?
It'll pending the pending litigation, Ms. Judge.
That's it?
That's correct.
Okay, so these other items will not be discussed. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. And to clarify, under state law, the board has the ability to go into executive session without including this information here. We do, elaborate further in some cases, but we prefer to cite the statutes that we would be relying on to go into executive session. So these items include litigation, the acquisition of real property, personnel matters, but I think you're familiar with, I mean, we are saying we're going to go into executive session to discuss the settlement agreement, which would be addressed both under the acquisition of real property and under pending litigation exceptions to the Open Meetings Act.
Okay, what about 074, personnel? You're going to be discussing personnel.
No, ma'am.
Okay, because it's on the list.
That's correct. We, from time to time, there are personnel matters that come up, and sometimes we have items on the agenda that we don't use. And in this case, I'm not aware of any plans to discuss personnel matters. I think the board would only be entering into executive session. I understand the board's intent now to discuss only the settlement agreement.
Okay, so there will be nothing on personnel or nothing on security, because that's listed on here too, whatever that is. Can I ask who put the executive session on this agenda?
I prepared the agenda, and these are items. I can't tell you if they were carried forward from, we started in the first agenda with the kind of old form that the district had been using, trying to kind of update it. But we can tweak it some more for more clarification if that would be helpful.
Well, I think I have seen other agendas too, where they have the people's initials next to the agenda item. So the public, in case they have a question, they can go to that director and find out something. Is that not, I mean, I've seen that done on other agendas.
I'll say that that's not, I wouldn't say that that's common practice. I have not personally seen that done. These are items for discussion by all board members. And so I wouldn't, I don't know that it would be appropriate to say that one board member would be the only board member to speak on a certain item or something like that.
Okay, well, since this meeting has gone on now for 2 hours, are we going to have another hour executive session?
Well, I was going to say, Davis, wouldn't it make more, can we move 9 down to 12 and move everything else up?
Sure, we can. I can run through the 10, 11, 12 here in 2 seconds.
Okay.
There's really 1, 10, your ethics letter and update from your investment officer. Tom's your investment officer. He has completed the required disclosure. It's included on page 35 of your packet. No conflicts were disclosed. Everything appears to be in order. So thanks, Tom, for getting that taken care of. And helping the district stay in compliance. The director conflicts disclosure and employee conflicts disclosure forms, those are something that we provide to our clients on an annual basis to just kind of get those forms in front of you and help you disclose any relevant conflicts that may need to be disclosed. So no action that's needed from the board in this meeting, but just ask that the board members and district employees complete those disclosures.
Does Richard have those? Or did?
Yes, they've been.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I've already sent them to Dee Dee.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe y'all have them all taken care of. So,
okay. I thought that's what we signed after the last meeting, but. Okay.
Yep. So that's it.
Okay. Also, didn't we have just to remind everybody, I don't know if everybody did it, but wasn't that cybersecurity thing we were supposed to do this month?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Did everybody do it?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to go into executive session and we will be back shortly.
Okay.
Davis, can you
All
send
right.
me the code? My calendar didn't have the code. Or if somebody wants to tell me the code, please.
That's a pretty quick group.
Anybody still here?
Wild West quick draw here. Who can get back in here the fastest?
No, you're fast. So,
we're getting good at this. We've been doing it for like a year and a half now, so we're finally figuring it out.
well, I'm against it. I don't want to do it anymore unless we can do something in a hybrid manner, so you guys don't have to travel.
Right. It is definitely saving y'all a lot of money not having to have your consultants in person. I'll just say
Is that possible when we go forward? We start going us doing our meetings in person, and then you guys could still call in like this?
Yeah, Davis is kind of the growing expert at our firm on this, so I'm gonna.
It's certainly possible, Tom. And I can totally see, us attending meetings like that for some of our clients, particularly meetings where there's less activity, I'll say. But it does require some kind of technical, capability, right? You want to make sure you have a screen and speakers and microphones and all that kind of stuff set up, so that the members of the public can hear what's going on and all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, I want to move it forward. Let's do it.
I second that.
I get tired of being on mute all day.
We ready to go?
Yes,
Yeah, do we have Gerard and Mark back?
Yeah,
Mark's up.
Gerard is here. I see. Yeah.
Okay.
we are done with pending business.
Anybody have any pending business? I think I took care of all mine up earlier on the list.
Do we need to say anything about the settlement agreement at all?
I don't think there's anything we need to say.
Forward.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. No pending business then. Set the date and time for the next meeting. July.
On that note,
oh, go ahead.
Can we meet? Can we meet in person?
Sure, if you want to.
I'd like to see us go that way. I get tired of people telling me they can't hear me.
Okay.
I hear you good now.
Yeah, I know. I've heard them fine all night. Yeah. So. Okay, so July. Oh, go ahead.
Can we do a composite where we all meet, but people can still teleconference and stuff?
I will tell you that's a really good question, Mark. I do have some clients, with district offices and stuff where you'll have a couple of board members that want to go use the equipment at the office to participate in the call, and then have everyone else call in, and that's definitely an option. The one thing I'll say is you just have to be sensitive that if you have a quorum present in an individual location, that you can only talk about district business while you're on the call. So,
how about if everybody but say one director is not in place? I'm going to be in Denver next month in training. I won't be here, but I can sure be on teleconference. I mean, I can do this. So that's my only question is if we ran it with most of us in person, but a director being at a remote location, would that be considered a quorum or okay?
And can we still vote on things if you're not?
If it is held by conference call or Teams, everyone who is present on conference call is considered present. If you hold a meeting in person, you cannot participate remotely. There is a video conferencing statute or provision, but it has some kind of pretty onerous technical requirements, and absent a screen and microphone and the ability to interact, and those board members who aren't present participating on video and all that good stuff, you can't operate under it. So, like I said, I do have some clients that are, like I have some board members, some clients that 2 board members will come to my office and we'll, set up the teams in our conference room with our big screen and all that kind of stuff there, and have other board members participate remotely, and the public and consultants and all that kind of stuff participate remotely. But it's however the board prefers to handle it.
Well, the date would be July 22nd.
That's correct.
So we either do it all Zoom or all in person. So, or we reschedule.
Well, yeah.
Well, if everybody's going to be there but me, we can do that. But if we also do it, I don't know, in person, but with at least I could listen to the meeting. I may not legally be able to be involved, but at least I could hear what was going on. Anyone?
I'm just thinking.
Richard, can I ask, do you have any sort of equipment that would allow people to participate remotely in the district's office?
Yeah, we got iPhones.
Davis, could we fall back to, well, consultants still probably want to use Teams. What I was going to say was, could we just fall back to having Mark call in just like a member of the public over a phone line like was done in the past? But that's going to kind of preclude you guys from dialing in with Teams, I guess.
And he still can't vote.
Well, we got to do it one way or the other.
Yeah.
If you still do it technically by Teams, as long as no more than 2 of you are at the district office, we can do it that way. So, then everyone could join and participate.
Okay.
You could have 2 board members at the district's office.
Correct.
Using the conference phone.
Okay.
And call in, and we could set it by,
right.
So there's a dial-in number on Teams. We have that dial-in service that we can use as well. And really, Gerard, the main reason that I like to use Teams as opposed to that dial-in service is because it is easier for me to identify who is causing technical problems. That there is a problem.
So I'm going to be in town. Mark's going to be out of town.
I will volunteer not to be on here if I can sit in the office. I'll volunteer to do it remotely.
Okay.
Tom?
I already told you my preference.
But you'll be in town at least.
Well, 2 are gone. Huh? Yeah, 2 won't be in the office, they've said. Tim's willing to be. So, yeah, as long as Tom and only 1 other person's at the office, we can do it just like this.
Yeah, so it can either be Tom and Gerard or Tom and Tom and Tim.
Right.
I'm open to either way. I can go to the office with Tom, and we can sit there and do the meeting.
And I'd prefer to do remote.
Okay, well, there you go, guys. We got it.
Okay.
Good.
Do we need
sorry to cause such problems, but thank y'all.
Okay, so what did we decide? Tim and Tom are going to the office.
We'll go to the office.
The rest of us are going to do Zoom or Teams, sorry.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So, date and time is, what did we decide that was? July 22nd, 6:30 p.m.?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Do we need to vote on that, don't we? We need to adjourn, so I need a motion to adjourn.
Mark makes a motion to adjourn.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second
Tim
it.
seconds.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
Mark says aye.
Tim, aye.
Gerard, aye.
Julie, aye. All right. See you guys on Teams. Some of you in person next month.
Thank you. Good night.
All right. Bye.
Good night, everybody.